In today's video, I'm going to be reassessing the LA Rams 2020 uniform rebrand 2 years later, going over my initial thoughts that I had at the time, if they've changed at all, and just kind of tossing the question back to you guys, asking you guys, what were your thoughts at the start of it, and what are your thoughts now? Did you hate it at the start, and now you've really grown to love them? Did you love them at the start, and now you've only grown to love them more? I'd really want to know your thoughts down below, so if you could leave them in the comments, I'd really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's just get in the video. So if you guys don't remember, the general reaction to the LA Rams whole rebrand altogether was very negative. It wasn't taken very positively, and the whole NFL fan bases were hating on it. The Rams fan bases were turning on the organization. It just was not a very good rebrand at the start as far as an organization standpoint. This is not the reaction you would want to get if you're the LA Rams. But I actually was a really big fan of the rebrand and the new colors and all the things that was brought to the table with these uniforms. I thought it was an upgrade over the past ones. There are of course some negatives about it, as all things have negatives, but overall I was actually really pleased with the rebrand and the turnover to what we have now. My favorite thing about the Rams rebrand in general is the transition to brighter colors. These colors really jump off the TV screen and catch your eye, especially in prime time. These give more of a vibrant punch in an LA feel, and they really catch your eye if you're an NFL fan or just a casual fan in general. Looking at some of the uniform choices that we have right now, I really like the familiarity and the consistency in each of them. From the helmets and the horns to the patch to just the colors in general, they all have a familiar feel and consistency, but they all offer something different, which is really what you want to have, and it's the sweet spot for a uniform. They all feel very unified and cohesive, but like I said, they bring something different in each one, but they all overall bring a very LA feel and a very Rams feel to it. Now, the helmet was heavily criticized at the time and still is today, and that's largely due in part because the horn is kind of cut into two different pieces, cut down the middle, and while I'm not the biggest fan of this, I can see what they're trying to do with it. I think they were trying to give more of a modern look, especially to the younger generation, and try to make it look a little bit more modern, a little bit more fresh. And while again I would like the horn to be a little bit more complete, the helmet overall looks pretty sweet. I really like the color change to it. It jumps off the screen more, it doesn't look as tired as the old one, and the colors work really well together. Again, while I would love the horn to be complete, this is probably my favorite Rams helmet in Rams history. I really did like that royal and white one that we had, but this one is actually really sweet. Another aspect of the uniforms that was heavily criticized is the gradient numbers. And it's interesting because there's only gradient numbers on the royal uniform and not on the bone or on the modern throwback. I guess this was just to make sure that the numbers wasn't lost on the bone or on the modern throwback. And I can see the Rams were trying to, get ahead of the curve and try to start something new with the gradient numbers. But for me, I do think that it doesn't look very professional. It does look a little bit XFL-ish. I don't have a huge problem with the gradient numbers, but if I were the one designing it, I would have filled it in more, and I'm sure Rams fans agree with me as well. But overall, I really like the rebrand from the logos to the uniforms. I'm not the biggest fan of the LA logo, but I do really like the ram head logo, and at this point, I don't really care what logo we have as long as we're doing well. I've always liked the uniforms since they came out. They've only continued to grow on me. There's nitpicky things we can point out that we want to change, but overall, I think the Rams did a nice job of keeping some of the important parts of the Rams history, like the horn. I know they cut it in half, but they kept it in there. They didn't put the LA logo or the ram head logo on there. They kept it in there, keeping some of the key aspects of the Rams history intact while also giving it more of a futuristic LA look. They did a really good job at doing that. Again, there's nitpicky things that we could change, and if we could change it, we would. But at this point, those are just little things, and I am really a big fan of the rebrand. But as I said at the start of the video, I want to know your thoughts. I know this is kind of a polarizing topic at times, but I want to know your thoughts down below on what you think of it, on the uniforms, the rebrand altogether. As for me, I'm Rams House. I appreciate you guys so much for stopping into another video. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you enjoyed. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Horns up and God bless.